Merry Christmas Eve, everyone. I decided this year that I would give myself a little gift the night before Christmas. And at first, I thought maybe I'd give myself a Carbonite box, but then I thought that, three regular booster boxes are about the value of one Carbonite box. Why don't I do a little bit of a comparison? Why don't I see how much value I can actually pull out of three regular Jump to Lightspeed booster boxes and compare that to some of my recent pulls from Jump to Lightspeed Carbonite boxes? So that's what we're going to do tonight. My early Christmas present to myself. And then I think tomorrow, my main Christmas present to myself will actually be a Carbonite box. So let's jump in. We've got, I think, what is that, 72 packs to get through? Let's see what we can pull out of some JTL regular booster boxes. Now, ideally, of course, we would find a showcase somewhere in here, but those are so rare in terms of booster boxes that it would be a little bit silly to plan on that. So instead, we're probably just chasing legendaries for the most part, maybe some kind of interesting hyperfoil opportunity. Let's take out the packs for the first box. 12 on one side, 12 on the other. And let's see what we pull. I'm going to go pretty quick through the commons and uncommons because I'm sure that at this point, if you've been watching my videos, you've seen plenty of what's in this set. So let's jump right into box one, pack one. All right, we got a Thrawn leader, regular base, jumping through the commons here. All right, into the uncommons, and a rare Lightspeed Assault, and a common foil MC-30 Assault Frigate. All right, pack number two. No showcase, nothing that matters in terms of the base. We got a little hyperspace common. I guess I'll put the non-regular commons right there in their own little pile. Okay, and then we're going to the uncommons. We got a hyperspace shuttle ST-149, and there's our first legendary. We just pulled an Executor in pack number 2. And then we have an uncommon foil at the end of the pack. Here we go to pack number 3. Hyperspace Akbar, regular base. And then let's get through the commons. Okay, then we're into the uncommons. And we have a rare Tam Rivora and a common foil Flanking Fang Fighter. We've got Asajj Ventress as a rare leader, regular base. Let's go through the commons. All right, and now here we are with the uncommons. And a rare Commandeer. And a legendary foil Planetary Bombardment. That Planetary Bombardment, I don't remember what it's going for right now, but I think it might be as high as $15. We'll take a look at the value of what we pull at the end of the box. Or maybe the end of all three boxes. We'll see. All right, Rio Durant, regular base. Going through the commons here. All right, and then we're into the uncommons. And then we have a rare Raddus and an uncommon foil Leia Organa. Got a Luke Skywalker, regular base. Going through the commons. We have a hyperspace First Order TIE Fighter. Going through the rest of the commons. Here we are at the uncommons. We have a Mist Hunter. And then we have a rare There Is No Escape. and a common foil Punch It. And by the way, if you'd like to get yourself any regular booster boxes or any Carbonite boxes, I do have some up right now on my eBay store. I also occasionally do some Whatnot streams. You can join me there. We can talk live and we can do some pack breaks for you there live as well. All right, those commons out of the way. Into the uncommons, we have a Hyperspace Captain Phasma. And then we have a rare Targeting Computer, followed by a common foil covering the wing. I'll also probably put some of these singles up. Oh my. Oh my. What was I just saying about showcases? I was saying we cannot expect a showcase in a regular booster box, right? This is one out of like 12 boxes, and we just pulled one. And one of the more sought after showcases. We'll look this one up again at either at the end of this box or at the end of all three boxes. But essentially, Thrawn at a minimum just made back the value of the box. And depending on where his value currently is on TCG Player, he may have just made up for all three boxes, maybe two or three. Let me get Thrawn sleeved here. Gonna get Thrawn in one of these perfect fit sleeves. Very good luck with that pull. Again, look, there he is. Beautiful. Now, in my opinion, Boba is probably the best showcase. In my opinion, the best showcase art of the entire game. So certainly for this set. But Thrawn, maybe Thrawn would come right after Vader. Maybe the Thrawn will be the number 3 best showcase in this set. So loving that. And I will put Thrawn in his very own real thick case here. Let's see. We'll put Thrawn in like that. Okay. And there we go. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Loving that. All right. Well, that makes everything else from here on out gravy. Okay. Well, let's continue with the pack that we just pulled Thrawn out of, shall we? Got a Hyperspace base. Go through the commons here. Hyperspace Techno Union Transport. Still going through the commons. All right. And whoops, put those in the wrong pile. That was a mistake. Okay, now we're on to the uncommons. Captain Phasma, R2BB8, Ahsoka Tano Rare, and then a Hyperfoil Common Indoctrinated Conscript. Ahsoka Tano is decent rare. I think Ahsoka's going for, maybe a few bucks. Let me adjust these piles a little bit here. Let's make it so that the further up the screen you go, the rarer and more valuable you get. All right, here we go. Wedge Antilles, regular base, go through the commons. Into the uncommons. And then we have a rare L337, otherwise known as Elite. And then a common foil dilapidated ski speeder. What I was saying before is that I'll probably put some of these cards up on TCG Player and sell individual cards. So if you'd like to pick any of those up, just head on over to my TCG Player store and I'll get those packaged up and mailed to you. Going through the commons here. Uncommons. and then a rare Snap Wexley. I have so many Snap Wexleys, and a foil common orbiting K-Wing. By the way, for those of you who haven't been keeping up with the news, FFG has made it known that they will no longer be printing foils in regular foils in upcoming sets. Those are going to be removed from the game entirely, and instead we're just going to have hyperspace and hyper foils. What that means also is that the carbonite packs in the future are essentially just going to be hyperspace packs. That should be what they're really called at that point, because you're going to have a bunch of regular hyperspace, then your prestige card, and then a bunch of hyper foils. All right, through the uncommons. Nice. Got a rare Relentless Fire Spray. I love the Slave 1 in all the different ways you can get it. And then we have an uncommon hyper foil Contracted Hunter. I think I could still use some Slave 1 Tier 2 Prestiges. All right, Admiral Akbar, regular base. Get through the commons. Okay, into the uncommons. We have a hyperspace spotlight card here, Never Tell Me the Odds. And we have a legendary Invincible, followed by a common foil Air Superiority. I'd like to say that the Invincible here is worth something, but unfortunately it really isn't. I think it's probably less than $1 if I remember correctly. It's unfortunate that, you know, some rares have a lot of value. You're in your $15 to $25 range, but then a lot of legendaries have really no value at all to speak of. That's unfortunate. Let's get through the commons here. We have a hyperspace orbiting K-Wing. And then into the uncommons, starting with the Tantive 4. Then we have a rare Hotshot Maneuver, followed by an uncommon foil Retrofitted Speeder. Okay, so we're at or about the halfway mark here on box 1. Again, with our showcase here, there's no way we can lose. It really wouldn't matter what else we get. It's a good thing we got the showcase, because so far we've only got 3 legendaries, and really like only one of them is worth much of anything. All right, Rose Tico. That would have been a unfortunate showcase to pull, wouldn't it? Then our base, and then let's get through the commons. Then we get into our uncommons, starting with Grim Valor. We get a hyperspace uncommon Face Off. And then we get a rare Phantom 2, and then a common foil Blade Squadron B-Wing. All right. Major Von Reg Hyperspace, regular base. Get through the commons. Then we get into the uncommons with Von Reg's TIE Interceptor. It's at least a good looking card. Boshek. And then we have a rare super heavy ion cannon. I think I might actually play this in my Boba Yellow deck. And then a common hyperspace foil Resistance Blue Squadron. Now there's a regular Grand Admiral Thrawn. Certainly prefer the showcase, which you might assume is always the case, right? Except, you know, Lord help you if you pull a Luke Skywalker showcase. A showcase so ugly that you might prefer the regular Luke Skywalker leader. All right, let's get through the commons here. By the way, can I just point out, I'm surprised that this card is a common. 3 cost, deal 5 indirect damage to a player. That seems like a lot of damage for that cost. All right, now we're at the uncommons. Luke Skywalker rare. That's a good pull. Luke Skywalker, I think, is going for about four to $5. And then we have an uncommon foil Fireball. Of course, the Fireball, there's also a prestige version, so the non-prestige is probably kind of worthless. In fact, even the prestige version I don't think is worth much of anything. Admiral Piet. That's my primary deck right now is a Piet deck, Piet Blue. Let's go through the commons. We've got a Hyperspace Red Squadron X-Wing. Continuing with the commons. Uncommon Chimera. There, we got a legendary Annihilator. Now, I happen to actually have a whole bunch of these. Unfortunately, this one also really not worth much of anything as a legendary, though it is playable. I play at least one, maybe two of these in my Piet deck. So it definitely has a place in play, but it doesn't seem to be popular on the collectible market from a legendary perspective. And then we have a foil COVID Strikecraft. Moving on. See, there's Luke Skywalker, the regular one. Now go look at the showcase for Luke Skywalker. All right, going through the commons. All right, moving on to the uncommons. And then we have a rare Corvus. I play currently, I think, 2 Corvuses in my Piet deck. So with Piet, if you actually get Piet on the ground, this Corvus only costs 3. It attacks for 4, and it has Restore 2. Oh, nice. We got a rare foil Victor Leader. So this is one of the more valuable rare cards, coming in at about $5. This and Luke are probably somewhere in a similar place. I actually do have a number of Victor Leaders now, so if you'd like to pick this one up, go over to my TCG Player account and order it from me, and I'll ship it out to you. Rio Durant, regular base. Going through the commons here. We have a Hyperspace Attack Run. Continuing with the commons. Into the uncommons. We have a legendary Profundity. I'm honestly, funny enough, I'm not sure that I've actually pulled this regular card before. I can't remember. I might have the prestige of this, but this might actually be the first time that I pulled the regular Profundity. Unfortunately, I can't play the Profundity in my Piet deck because this is a hero card. I mean, I could pay even more for it, but it's not worth it. So for a 9 cost, you get 8 attack. It has Overwhelm. And then when played and when defeated, choose a player. They discard a card from their hand. Then, if they have more cards in their hand than you, they discard another card from their hand. Lots of hand destruction there. All right, now we have a common foil Massassi Tactical Officer. Now, do you think that boxes that happen to include a showcase, do you think that FFG knowingly then reduces the number of valuable cards beyond that? Or do you think that all boxes are fully randomized and either they have a showcase or they don't? Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on that. Going through the commons here. All right, going through the uncommons. And then we have a legendary Turbo Salvo. This is actually a great card. I'm already playing 3 of these, I think, in my Piet deck. Choose an arena, which means ground or space. A friendly space unit deals damage equal to its power to each enemy unit in that arena. So if you happen to get out a big capital ship, a capital ship that hits for 8 or 9 or 10, and then you play this the next turn, you're doing 8 or 9 or 10 damage to every single enemy unit, either on the ground or in space. So this, if you get this out at the right time, that is a killer card. I don't know what the value on that card is, though. We'll have to look. All right, and then a common foil coordinated front. Here we go. Wedge Antilles, regular base, going through the commons. All right, into the uncommons. And then a rare Seasoned Fleet Admiral and an uncommon foil face-off. Only 3 more packs to go in this first box. Hyperspace Rose Tico, regular base, going through the commons. And then we have a Hyperspace Air Superiority, and then more commons. Starting the uncommons, we have a Dengar, Director Krennic, Commence Patrol, followed by a rare, It's a Trap, and a common foil resupply carrier. Also playing 3 of these in my Piet deck. Got to get that resource ramp up. All right, second to last pack. Here we go. Another regular Thrawn. Regular base going through the commons. Then the uncommons. And then we have, looks like we're going to have 2 rares, I think, in this one because we only got 2 uncommons. So we have a hyperspace rare Tam Ravora, followed by a rare Corporate Defense Shuttle, followed by a common barrel roll foil. Corporate Defense Shuttle, not sure why, like, this unit can't attack. I don't know what the purpose is of the Corporate Defense Shuttle. I don't know what the strategy is there. Captain Phasma, regular base. Let's get through the commons. Hyperspace Barrel Run, more commons, then into the uncommons, and then a rare Allegiant General Pride, followed by a rare foil L337. And that, ladies and gentlemen, ends our first box of 3 boxes. As a reminder, what we're doing here is we're going to see what value can we pull from 3 regular booster boxes, and does it live up to the similar price of a single Carbonite box? So let's look at the legendaries that we pulled. We pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legendaries, including Turbo Salvo, Profundity, Annihilator, Invincible, Planetary Bombardment, and Executor. Of those, my guess is that the most valuable is Planetary Bombardment. The second most valuable is Turbo Laser Salvo. And then I'm not sure that any of the rest of these carry much of anything. We'll look at all the values once all 3 boxes are open. But of course, the hit of hits, what we couldn't possibly have asked for, but what we always hope for, we got the showcase. Grand Admiral Thrawn. Let me go adjust some things and we'll come back here for box number 2. Here we go with box number 2 out of our 3-box Christmas Eve early Christmas gift to myself. I'm so generous. This is box number 2 out of 3 boxes. We've already pulled a showcase in box 1. Even that was kind of, to hope for that, was hoping a lot, given that there's only 1 showcase for every something like 12 boxes of regular boosters. So I certainly don't expect to see another one of those. But you never know. That's the thing about gambling. You never know. All right, so here we go with box number 2. Regular Admiral Thrawn, regular base. Let's go through the commons. Got a Hyperspace Outer Rim Outlaws. Starting with the uncommons. And then our first rare is an L337 followed by an uncommon foil Fireball. Okay, it'll be interesting, assuming we don't get a showcase in here, it'll be interesting to see if we end up pulling more legendaries and maybe better legendaries. Captain Phasma, regular base, going through the commons. Then into the uncommons. And then we have a rare Boba Fett. I do enjoy Boba Fett. I think I've already got a bunch of these, but, you know, Boba Fett's great. And then a common foil TIE Bomber. I'm playing 3 TIE Bombers in my Boba Fett deck, doing that indirect damage. Admiral Haldo Hyperspace, regular base. Let's get through the commons. Into the uncommons. We have a Hyperspace legendary Unity of Purpose. For each friendly unit with a different name, give each unit you control +1/+1 for this phase. And then a rare base. We started high and then we sunk down low real quick. And followed by a hyper foil rare base, Nabat Village. What do you know? What do you know? Who thought you could get 2 rare bases in the same pack? Oh boy. If that had been a Data Vault Hyperfoil, I actually would have been cool with that because that goes for something like $30 online. But any other base, it's like, what's the point? Vader, regular base, commons. We do have a little Hyperspace Adept Arc 170. Going through the commons again. Into the uncommons. And then a rare 9-numb. And then a common foil Fight Fire with Fire. So far, not real impressed with what we've got here. Not real impressed. Rose Tico. Base. Get through the commons. And by the way, if you would like any of this bulk, I'm happy to sell you this bulk on the cheap. Get you a big stack of commons, uncommons, some foils, some hyper foils. Just let me know what you want. Going through the uncommons here, and then a legendary, the Starhawk. So this is another one of these legendaries that I think is generally worthless. I think maybe a couple of bucks, if that. Unfortunately, that's just the case with a number of legendaries. But it is a legendary, and then a common foil Adept Arc 170. All right, Admiral Akbar, Hyperspace Base. Get through the commons. Here's a Hyperspace Death Space Skirmisher. Going through commons. Then into the uncommons. And a legendary Radiant 7. Now, what was I just telling you about worthless legendaries? Unfortunately, here's another one. I have more Radiant 7s than I can count, and I believe this card's going for about 70 cents. So there you go. And then a Hyperfoil common Zygerian Starhopper. I wonder what the most valuable legendary is in JTL right now. It might be Planetary Bombardment. I'm not sure. All right, getting through the commons. Commons. Into the uncommons. A rare targeting computer. And a common foil Kimogula Heavy Fighter. So still, this, as exciting as the first box was, this one so far, not exciting. Lando, regular base. Get through the commons. Then into the uncommons. A rare in the heat of battle. And then a common foil Academy graduate. So we were hoping, given that this box almost certainly does not have a showcase, we were hoping for some better stuff inside, but so far we're actually doing worse even on the legendary front than the first box in terms of value. Getting through the commons, then into the uncommons. And there's a Data Vault, which I said a moment ago that if Data Vault had been a hyperfoil, I would have been cool with it. Data Vault regular like this, again, is worth less than $1. So this is one of these rare bases that's then just totally pointless. Don't need it. And an uncommon foil Wingguard security team. Admiral Akbar Hyperspace, regular base. Going through the commons, we have a Hyperspace Jedi Light Cruiser. More commons. Into the uncommons. Is it just me, or is this getting a little bit ridiculous? This has happened in some other videos too, but it's just like, come on. Like, this entire box is filled with rare bases. And then a common foil piercing shot. Now, FFG has said that rare bases in the future are going to come in the base slot, which is good. They should have figured that out a long time ago, but it sure is disappointing to open a box and go through, 4 packs or whatever it is, pulling a bunch of rare bases. Especially when you still get the common base. Come on. I mean, I'm glad it's fixed for the future, but those of us still opening packs in the past doesn't help us. All right, commons out of the way. Uncommons. This is a joke. You know how some people open boxes and they just like hit 3 or 4 Vaders or something? I'm getting the comedy version of that. This box is the joke version of pulling just a series of duplicated good cards. I guess at least there's a rare foil Ahsoka behind that. But let me just take a look at this. Colossus, rare base. Nabat Village, rare base. Data Vault, rare base. Thermal Oscillator, rare base. Nabat Village, rare base. It's like, what are we doing here? In the meantime, we have 3 essentially worthless legendaries. So, folks, enjoy this one. Laugh at me, laugh at my pain. If it wasn't for this guy right here from box 1, this would hurt a lot. But thankfully, that Thrawn is just sitting there staring at me. All right, Von Reg, Hyperspace base. Let's get through the commons. We have a Hyperspace, I'll just call it a K-turn. It's not a U-turn, it's a K-turn. More commons. Okay, uncommons. We have an uncommon Hyperspace Poe Dameron. And then we have a legendary Annihilator. So you'll remember that we pulled one of these in box 1. And though it is playable, I think it's a good card. It's not in high demand. So I think it's worth very little. And then a foil uncommon Wingman Victor 2. Well, that's the halfway point, folks. That's halfway, and we've gotten almost every rare base combination possible, it would seem. Admiral Akbar, regular base. Going through the commons. Then into the uncommons. And then we've got a rare black 1 and a hyperfoil common out the airlock. Von Reg, base. Commons, we have a Hyperspace Bunker Defender. More commons. Uncommons, we have a Hyperspace Uncommon General Hux, followed by a Legendaries Scramble Fighters. So I think I already have, this is another one that's not really worth anything, but I think I'm going to put together a Vader token deck, and I think I have 2 of these already, so I think I can actually play this one. And then we have a rare Victor Leader. We pulled one of these in the first box, and I mentioned this goes for $4 to $5. So that's a nice little pull right there. If it had been nothing but packs like that, we'd be in a better position. Unfortunately, we needed to get a bunch of rare bases, and oh my goodness, am I seeing a reflection there? Did you pick that up in the camera? Is there a reflection on the card 1? Oh my gosh. So I have such a feeling of I can't believe it, and also I can't believe it for 2 very different reasons. First, this is the second, I swear there's nothing special about these booster boxes. Second booster box, second showcase, and it's the showcase that I was just ragging on. I was just making fun of this one. Because the artwork on this showcase, it's as if the clown from It dressed up as Luke Skywalker for Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, that's awful. And again, like, no hate on whoever created the art. God knows what goes into getting things approved. I'm just saying the clown from It dressed up as Luke for Halloween. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So, I mean, hey, it's a showcase. I guess we know why the rest of this box was struggling so hard. There was a showcase waiting for us. And we will celebrate it as a showcase. But oh boy, is that an ugly showcase. Oh boy. Let me get it in the sleeve. Not sure what we're protecting here, but, you know, just as a matter of habit and policy. And I'll even give Ugly Luke his own thick case. He is a showcase. He technically deserves it. So there we go. Box 2, our second showcase. Again, I don't know how this happened. I just don't know. It's going to, I mean, I didn't think we were going to hit one showcase. There was no way we're going to hit 2 showcases. And so could you imagine if there's a third one in there? It's not even something we should be considering. It's so impossible in terms of the likelihood. And yet now, you know, we're 2 for 2. Can we go 3 for 3? Is that possible? I don't know. We still have about half this box to get through, but we'll find out. We'll see if by some weird stroke of luck that happened. Okay, back to the commons here. Away from the clown from It, we're now back to the commons. And there's a rare Corvus. I mentioned before that I play 2 of these in my Piet deck. And an uncommon foil Decimator of Dissidents. Vader, regular base, coming through the commons. Then to the uncommons. Legendary Nebula Ignition. And a Spotlight foil shuttle Tidarium. Okay. You know, it's funny. I opened so many packs and quite a few boxes when I first got started with SWU, which if you've watched my earlier videos, you know about that on this channel. You can go see the beginnings of the journey. And I just didn't pull any showcases. I opened, I don't know how many boxes and how many pre-release boxes and how many packs. And I think I even opened a Carbonite box and I never pulled a showcase. And then I'll tell you, in the past like 2.5 weeks, I've now pulled 4 showcases, 2 in Carbonite boxes and 2 in regular boxes. So it's nuts. It's nuts. And the problem is now I'm using, I didn't pull any, and it felt like something that I was just never going to get to enjoy. And now I've pulled 4 of them. So now it's like I expect it. But you should never expect showcases. They're way too rare. And by some stroke of luck, I've ended up pulling a bunch just recently. So when I go back to never pulling them, it's going to be very sad. All right, into the uncommons here. We have a hyperspace uncommon R2D2, followed by a rare seasoned fleet admiral and a common foil determined recruit. All right, Thrawn base, some commons. Then some uncommons here, and then a rare Sidon Ithano. I have no idea how to pronounce that. And a common foil scouting headhunter. Admiral Piet, regular base, commons. Hyperspace TIE Bomber, commons. Uncommons. And then a rare IG-88 and a hyperfoil common homestead militia. See, so to make it clear, regular artwork versus the showcase. All right, commons. Uncommons. And then a rare corporate defense shuttle and an uncommon foil red leader. Yep, it looks like in this box, other than the showcase, there isn't going to be much here for us. Commons. Uncommons. Rare cat and mouse. Have I ever pulled this one? I don't know. Exhaust an enemy unit. If you do, ready a friendly unit in the same arena with power equal to or less than that enemy. Interesting. Not sure I've ever pulled that one. Common foil swarming vulture droid. Rio Durant, regular base. Get the commons out of here into the uncommons. Legendary Profundity and a rare foil L337. So repeating some of our earlier pulls, we had a Profundity in the first box. We also had a foil L337. Von Reg, Theed Palace base. Into some commons, we have a hyperspace prototype TIE Advanced. Into the uncommons. Rare Sabine's Masterpiece. This is one of my favorite rare cards. Both, I mean, the ability is cool, but also I love the artwork. And I think this rare might go for about $5, I think. Maybe 10, 5 to 10, something in there. So one of the more valuable rares in the set. And then a common foil X-34 land speeder. And now we're down to the last pack, folks. Last pack of box 2. Wedge, regular base. Get through the commons. Uncommons. We have a hyperspace Paige Tico, and then a rare Snap Wexley, because apparently you can't have too many of those, and then a common foil landing speeder. Okay, well, if you're not a fan of artwork, the hit for this box is a second showcase. Other than that, there wasn't much that we pulled. In terms of legendaries, let's see, we have Profundity, Nebula Ignition, Scramble Fighters, Annihilator, Radiant 7, the Starhawk, and Unity of Purpose. I might be misremembering, but I don't think any of those are worth anything, generally speaking. Now, in terms of rares, Sabine's Masterpiece is worth something. Cat and Mouse, I don't know. Maybe it's worth something. I don't think I've ever pulled it, at least that I can remember. Let's see, were there anything else? Victor Leader, of course, is worth a little something. And then other rare bases. Ahsoka's worth a few bucks. Rare bases galore. And then, I mean, maybe because it's a hyperfoil, Nabat Village is worth something, but I doubt it. I'll check. And that's probably about it. So let me get these cards put away, and we will break the third box. And again, it would be ridiculous to expect a showcase, but wouldn't that just be hilarious? Let's see what happens. Okay, here we are, box number 3. We've done 2 booster boxes, pulling 2 showcases. No clue how that happened. And now the question is, can we break all statistical luck by going 3 for 3? And these were all sealed boxes. You've watched me unseal them right here. No shenanigans. It would be hilarious and awesome if we could go 3 for 3. A third regular booster box with a third showcase. That would be incredible. Let's see what happens. In we go. 12 packs there. 12 packs there. And now, even though I felt no real pressure to find a showcase in the first box, and then I definitely felt no pressure to find it in the second box, I now feel like I need to have one in the third box because we're so close to being 3 for 3. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Not in pack 1, that's for sure. Rose Tico regular base. Get through the commons. Get through the uncommons. And then start off with a legendary Hondo Onaka. Don't think that's worth anything. And then an uncommon hyper foil Captain Tarkin. Now, one thing that will be interesting, if we find that we start pulling a bunch of legendaries, that might indicate that there's no showcase just because of the value of the legendaries, that maybe that's, the box makes up for it with the legendaries. Regular Vader, hyperspace base. Get through the commons. Get through the uncommons and a rare no glory only results. This might be worth $8 to $10. So that's a good rare. And then a common foil Quasar TIE Carrier. Admiral Akbar, regular base. Get through the commons. Get through the uncommons. And a rare Sidon Athano. And a common foil Focus Fire. A rare Admiral Trench Leader. And then get through the commons. We have a Hyperspace Outer Rim Outlaws. Then into the uncommons. We have a Hyperspace Trace Martez and a rare Luke Skywalker. So that, again, between $4 to $5 for that card, and an uncommon foil Banshee. So we're already getting better rares than we did probably, definitely in the second box, maybe even the first box. Commons. Uncommons. Legendary Hyperspace Turbo Laser Salvo. So we had a regular one of these, I think, in the previous box. It's a good card. And a legendary Vader and a rare Corvus. So see this, having a few packs like this is what I expect in a normal box. This suggests to me we can't be getting a showcase in this box. There's too much. We're trending towards too much value just in terms of the rares and the legendaries. We can hope that somewhere in the 75% of the box that remains, we can make the funniest thing ever happen. But I think this is looking to be more of a normal box on the non-showcase front. Starting with the uncommons. Legendary Han Solo. See, we're getting more legendaries and better legendaries. And then a common foil landing shuttle. Rio Durant, regular base. Go through the commons. Go through the uncommons. And then a rare Corvus. We're getting a lot of Corvuses today. And a common foil TIE bomber. Wedge Antilles, City in the Clouds, get through the commons, into the uncommons. There's a rare base for us again. Oh, yay. And a uncommon foil BB-88. Any box that gives you a rare base should have to give you a showcase. Luke, regular base, get through the commons. Hyperspace Jedi Light Cruiser, get through the commons. Uncommons. Legendary Death Star plans. Common foil Fight Fire with Fire. So, yeah, so far we have a lot more legendaries that we're hitting. Rose Tico, regular base. Get through the commons. Into the uncommons. Rare Lightspeed Assault. And then a common Hyperfoil attack run. Poe Dameron, regular base. Commons, get a hyperspace K-turn, not a U-turn. Commons, into the uncommons. And then the joke continues. The joke is on me. Oh boy, those rare bases. Gosh, if it wasn't for those showcases, I would be mighty annoyed with that. Admiral Akbar. Okay, get through the commons. Uncommons. We have a rare Tam Revora. Look at that. A rare Tam Revora and a hyperfoil Tam Revora. Interesting. Interesting things happening in these boxes today. All right, not a showcase. Going through the commons, into the uncommons. Hyperspace Bo Shek, and then another cat and mouse. So funny enough, I don't remember ever pulling one of these in previous boxes, and we've pulled 2 out of 3 boxes. And a rare foil Radis. All right, a Luke, a base, getting through the commons, uncommons, rare IG-88, and a common foil Red Squadron X-Wing. Not a showcase, going through the commons. uncommons. Oh, gee. Colossus and a hyperfoil covering the wing. Would any of you like to purchase any rare bases? I have a few of them. I have some rare bases available. Or maybe if you just come buy some packs from me, I'll throw them in there for free. Or if you buy some other individual cards and you want a rare base, you just let me know and I'll give you one for free. Into the uncommons, rare General Draven and an uncommon rare Cam Syndulla. Well, now we're kind of catching up with our legendaries. I thought we were going to have a lot more, but they really slowed down. Commons. Uncommons. We got a rare Boba Fett and a Spotlight foil Chewbacca. No showcase there. Got a Hyperspace Prototype TIE Advanced. Uncommons. Got a rare Trench Run and a common foil Prototype TIE Advanced. All right, we're coming up on the last quarter of the box. Man, I was really hoping that was going to be a Vader showcase. That would have been so cool. Could you imagine getting a Vader showcase in the third box? Can you imagine? Hyperspace Desperate Commando. Into the uncommons. A legendary Unity of Purpose. We just had the Hyperspace version of these in the previous box. And then a common foil Repair. No showcase. Uncommons. And comedy. And comedy. It is a joke. It is a joke. Rare bases. Rare bases are a joke. Not a showcase. Through the commons. Uncommons. Rare Cassian Andor and a common Hyperspace Orbiting K-Wing. There's a wedge. There's a base. Going through the commons. Going through uncommons. Legendary Home 1. And an uncommon foil Dogfight. A Hyperspace Admiral Thrawn. Commons. Starting the uncommons. Got a Hyperspace BB-8. A legendary Devastator. I think that's a decent legendary value-wise. And then common foil Kajimi Patrollers. Let's see, did I get something in the wrong pile here? No, I think that's all correct. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the odds were against us. This is the last pack. What are the odds that the last pack of the last box is going to have a showcase? Probably -5, but we've got a chance. Nope, we couldn't do it. We couldn't go 3 for 3, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't make it happen. Let's see what we've got in here. into the uncommons, and then a rare, the Invisible Hand, and a common foil Torpedo Barrage. So this box was definitely the worst. It was just generally not a very good box. I will say, I don't know if Home 1 is worth anything or not, but these 4 legendaries, at least 3 of these 4 legendaries, I think are worth a few bucks. Vader, I think, being the most, and then probably Turbo Laser after that. I think the rest of those legendaries that we pulled, I guess Han Solo should be up there as well, is worth a few bucks. And then Unity of Purpose, Death Star Plans, Hondo, Onaka. I don't think those are going to fetch anything really. And the Chewie is because it's a nice card, nice artwork, nice playable card, but not worth much of anything. And then in terms of the rares, I don't know. Cassian Andor might be worth a little something. I don't remember. And let's see if anything else in here strikes me as going for much. I guess Luke is worth a few bucks. And then, okay, no glory, only results. So what I'm going to do now is go look up the value of the cards in each of these boxes. And then we're going to come back and talk about the per box value and the total value so that we can stack it up against a Carbonite box. Be back in just a minute. All right, we are back to look at this Christmas Eve miracle. The miracle of 2 showcases in 3 regular booster boxes. Still can't believe it, but I'm back with the market report for you. So here before you, you have the hits from box 1, box 2, and box 3. I only considered it a hit if it looks like it's currently going on TCG Player for at least $1. And that might sound like a very low bar, but then again, look at how many cards have disappeared by simply setting the bar at $1. There are a lot of rares and a lot of legendaries that don't even reach $1 single. So let's talk about the value from each of these boxes. Let's talk about what these cards are currently going for. Box 1, we'll come to the showcase last, but starting in box 1, I guess we can start with our legendaries. Only 3 legendaries that broke $1, and they barely broke it, ladies and gentlemen. Unity of Purpose and Hyperspace can currently be bought for $4. Annihilator for $150. I'm rounding these, by the way. They're not exact, but $4, $150 for Annihilator, and $1 for Scramble Fighters. That's what we got in our first box legendaries, ladies and gentlemen. All other legendaries are worth even less than that. And somewhat surprisingly, our rares did way better than our legendaries. And despite my hate for rare bases, even they got on the board price-wise. Sabine's Masterpiece, non-foil, is currently going for about $9. Victor Leader foil is going for about $5. Data Vault is going for about $3. Nabat Village Hyperfoil is going for about $3. And Ahsoka Tano foil is going for about $2. So that brings, let's see, I have the total box value, but if I subtract the showcase, that means that all of our non-showcase hits for the entire box worth about $25. $25 of sellable value for the entire booster box. But of course, it wasn't just a booster box, was it? It was a Grand Admiral Thrawn showcase box, and Grand Admiral Thrawn is currently going for $110. That brings our total box value up to $135. Now, while the MSRP on a box might be somewhere around 100 or north of 100, the truth is these boxes have been going at very discounted rates. And in fact, I got a great deal on my boxes. So as a comparison point, you can buy sealed booster boxes from me on eBay right now for $65 a box. Now, depending on where you live, there's shipping, there's tax, but that's different for everybody. So let's just talk about the box price. you can have, like, you could have literally ordered any one of these 3 boxes from me. They've been on sale for $65, which means that from that price point, we nearly doubled our money with box number 1. Double our money. Actually, no, we over doubled. We more than doubled it, because double is 130. 65 times 2 is 130. And we pulled $135 of value out of box number 1. So on the one hand, it rested entirely on that showcase. On the other hand, we still doubled it. We doubled the value. So let's move on to box number 2, and let's start with our legendaries. We have at least one decent legendary hit in this box. Planetary Bombardment Foil is currently going for about $20. That, I think I mentioned this when we cracked the packs, but that might be the most expensive legendary in the set. I'm not sure. I don't know if there are any above 20. Turbo Laser Salvo is sitting at about 4. Annihilator is about 150. Let's just call all 3 of these together $25. Now, what that means is that these 3 legendaries together just equaled the entire value of our previous box in terms of rares and legendaries. But then on top of those, we're going to add Victor Leader Foil, about $5, Luke Skywalker, about $5, Ahsoka, about $2. So let's just call that 10. So $35 now for the non-showcase cards. Now that is still less than half, about half the cost of the box. So remember, the box is $65. We pulled out $35 in non-showcase value. But then, despite how ugly Luke Skywalker might be, his showcase is currently selling for about $60. $60 for this card right here, which brings our box total up to $95. That's, let's call it 50% price, 50% value above box price. So we got a 50% return. Box 1, we had a 100% return. Box 2, we had a 50% return. Let's see where we are with box number 3. Now, obviously, box number 3 has no showcase at all. All we've got are legendaries and rares. So let's take a look at what we've got. Vader is going for about 10. Devastator, 10. Unity of Purpose. This one's just the regular one, not hyperfoil. It's going for about 8. Han Solo's going for about 5. Turbo Laser Salvo Hyperspace going for about 5. Death Star Plans just going for about $1. Those are our legendaries from that box. And then our rares. No Glory Only Results, one of the more valuable rares in the set. That's going for $8. Luke for 5. Data Vault for 3. Invisible Hand for 1. Trench Run for 1. That brings box number 3 to about $60 in value, because we don't have a showcase. Now, on the one hand, the non-showcase value is about twice what it was for the other 2 boxes. We doubled our non-showcase value. But in the absence of the showcase, we're just coming out at $60, which, let's just call that equal to the price of the box. So 100% return, 50% return, 0% return. That's where we are with our 3 boxes. Now, I started all of this by saying, well, what if we compare it to a Carbonite box? How would that compare? Because 3 regular boosters goes for about the price of 1 Carbonite box, with the current market prices. Out of 1 Carbonite box, what might we pull? Well, we'll look at that tomorrow when I gift myself a Carbonite box for Christmas. But let me add all this up. So we had $135 of value in box 1, $95 in box 2. That brings us up to what, $230? If I did the math correctly. So $230 plus 60 more is $290. We came away with $290 based on current TCG Player prices across those 3 booster boxes. Can we pull nearly $300 worth of sellable value from a Carbonite box? I'll be honest, I really don't think so. Even with a showcase, I don't think so. But we're going to try. We're going to try with the Carbonite box and we're going to compare. So until then, I'm not sure when this video will be out, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. I hope you either have or have had a wonderful Christmas, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the video about the Carbonite box. And I do hope you'll come follow me here on YouTube and also on Whatnot and X and all the various places. And again, if you're in the market for sealed boxes, I've got you covered. And if you're in the market for individual cards, I've got you covered on TCG Player and Whatnot as well. Just reach out and let me know what you're looking for. All right, have a great one. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, I'm 90s Star Wars Kid.